enthralling television spectacles in World Cup competition. The arena presentation is excellent, the crowd is excellent, and the quality of the gymnastics is always very strong, especially this year when 35 nations, a record, have entered the Osijek World Cup. So, we're well set up, are we not? It's great to have your company. Thank you so much for being part of it all. The men's vault final will get us started. The finalists in the men's vault competition, and the top performer in qualification, surprise, surprise, Artur Davtyan of Armenia. The gymnast who won the silver medal at the Olympic Games in Paris after taking bronze in Tokyo 3 years before. But this is going to be such a competitive vault final. It really is going to be enthralling. One of the nicest features of how they do things here in Osijek is we get the presentations of each athlete individually, a chance to celebrate their great accomplishments. From the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Harry Hepworth, the bronze medalist on vault at the Olympic Games in Paris and the third strongest in qualification today. The first British man to win an Olympic medal on vault. What an accomplishment.
Artur Davtyan.
Here is a gentleman with 2 Olympic medals on this apparatus. The great Artur Davtyan, 32 from Yerevan. Silver medalist in Paris after taking bronze in Tokyo. He was the top qualifier for this final.
The third finalist representing Uzbekistan, Abdulaziz Mirvaliev.
Lovely young gymnast here, very stylish, Abdulaziz Mirvaliev of Uzbekistan. He was the 7th best in qualification. His difficulty isn't as huge as others, but he's a very impressive young man to watch.
The fourth finalist representing Malaysia, Ng Chung Chen.
Here's somebody with difficulty. He's got some big vaulting. Ng Chung Chen from Malaysia. Bronze medalist with the team at the Southeast Asian Games in 2023. He has been a World Cup finalist on vault before.
Peti finalist, predstavnik Bugarske. The 5th finalist representing Bulgaria, Daniel Trifonov.
The 6th best in qualification, Bulgaria's Daniel Trifonov. The 20-year-old from Sofia has been a silver medalist in World Challenge Cup competition.
6th finalist, predstavnik Italije. The 6th finalist representing Italy, Nicola Bartolini.
We are always guaranteed elegance, poise and style when this gentleman's around. Nicola Bartolini, the Italian who was the champion of the world on floor in 2021, but also a very strong vaulter. He was the silver medalist at the Mediterranean Games in Algeria.
7th finalist representing Great Britain, Jake Jarman.
And how exciting that we get a rematch between Jake Jarman and Artur Davtyan. Jake Jarman, who is the champion of the world on vault and the European champion. And he won a bronze medal on floor at the last Olympic Games. He was the 2nd best in qualifying. And now we turn our attentions to home hope and home hero, Aurel Benovic of Croatia, who was 5th in the Olympic vault final in Paris. And he won in Osijek in this event last year. He was the 4th best in qualification on this occasion. It's going to be very, very good.
You may start warming up.
The split warm-up system is in operation. as is always the case at International Gymnastics Federation Apparatus World Cups. So the first four will have a little contact time with the apparatus. That's going to be Harry Hepworth, Artur Davtyan, Abdulaziz Mirvaliev and Ung Chun Chen. So we're going to see the third and top qualifiers in the first half of the final and the second and fourth best qualifiers in the second half of the final. So it is quite balanced. The random draw has delivered a format that will really keep us guessing right the way through, especially with Jake Jarman, penultimate, and Aurel Benovic as the last gymnast to go. Still to come, we'll bring you the women's balance beam and floor finals. We'll also have the men taken to the parallel bars and the horizontal bar. And it really was such an engrossing competition yesterday. Those of you who saw yesterday's finals will know that one of the main reasons for that is a lot of gymnasts like this chap have been marking their return to competition post-Olympiad at the Osijek World Cup. So consequently, we've had the real excitement of seeing some big performers after they've taken a bit of time to rest and perhaps rehabilitate small injuries post-Olympic Games. They have now decided that Osijek is where they want to begin their campaigns as we build towards the 2028 Games in Los Angeles. And indeed, there have been some changes to the code of points from Paris to Los Angeles that are particularly significant on vault, where all vaults have had the value lowered by 0.4 of a mark. So consequently, vaults that were a 5.6 difficulty, I say that looking at those two gentlemen who had 5.6 difficulty vaults, two of them in the previous cycle. Now they now have two 5.2 degree of difficulty vaults. So everything dropping by 0.4. And that will just provide a little more equilibrium across all of the 6 pieces for gentlemen. Now he'll give us a lot of excitement, Ung Chun Chen. Very interesting gymnast, a young athlete, one of the younger competitors in the Southeast Asian Games bronze medal winning team. Harry Hepworth from Great Britain. The third best performer in qualification. The gymnast who won the bronze medal at the Olympic Games. He gets us underway with a very nice looking Dragulescu. Plenty of amplitude on that vault. Let's have a look back at it. Plenty of time in the air. He's relatively raised in terms of his upper body as he lands. It's very difficult, I'm sure many of you know, to actually hit a Dragulescu in quite an upright position. But he gives himself time because of the height of the vault. So this ought to do pretty positively. There we have it, 14.3. So the Dragulescu, which used to be a 5.6 difficulty vault, now downgraded along with all of them. So he drops by about 1/10.5 from qualification. It was a 14.466 in the preliminary round. And it's a very compact final, just small movements on landing could make all of the difference. Oh, yes, well done. That's the handspring front layout, 2.5 twists. So, Great Britain's Harry Hepworth with a very compelling start. That certainly is a display that could have him in medal contention. It's one of the 2 yo vaults. That's a little backwards movement. Quite tidy looking in the air. Feet remaining together. Very well performed. Great to see him back. We have a 14.383 for Hepworth, virtually the same as qualification, the average mark. 14.466 for the second vault, which is a little better in terms of execution than the first. On the subject of execution, we go to the architect of beautiful vaulting, Artur Davtyan. Top qualifier, Olympic silver medalist. After the bronze in Tokyo, he's aiming for a full set of colours to be completed in Los Angeles. The World Cup vault title winner over the last few seasons. He's just been so consistent. Here's Dragulescu, does have a bit of a hop forwards, quite a bit of a hop forwards, slightly lower in his chest position than normal, but it is, by anyone's standards, an extremely well performed vault. Certainly, execution-wise, there are some quite clear deductions. The very bent-over position as he lands, the big hop forwards. All of that, 14.166. It's a rare thing to see a Dragulescu that doesn't have a 9 upwards execution score from Artur Davtyan, but we just remind ourselves that he's had a very fine season, winning Cottbus and winning Antalya. We expect a like-for-like comparison between him and Hepworth in terms of the vaults that they've actually chosen. We expect that as well from Aurel Benovic to come later. So this should be the handspring front layout 2.5 twist, the Yo 2 vault. And indeed it was, again, a big landing adjustment. His reaction quite interesting after that. Clearly a bit to contemplate there for Artur Davtyan. That looked a more pronounced landing adjustment than the previous vault. But again, we just remind ourselves, this is the start of a build towards Los Angeles 2028. He's quite compressed as he lands. He does very well to stabilise it with the move forwards rather than an actual lilt to the right-hand side. Does get the arms nicely into the chest. That has tidiness to it. But one would imagine that Hepworth is going to be ahead based on execution. They are, just to clarify, the same difficulty. Yes, no great surprise there, 14.216, so Hepworth indeed remains in the lead. 14.266 for vault number 2. That did have a 9+ execution score. But he gave a fair amount away on the landings. Abdulaziz Mirvaliev of Uzbekistan looked very controlled in what we saw yesterday from him. Good vaulter. He actually was 11th at the World Championships in Antwerp. That was the best of all of his performances there. And he has been a World Cup medalist in Turkey in 2023. Yes, that will do nicely. Good hold. He uses the Kasamatsu 1.5 as his opening vault. Doesn't he do well to stabilise that? That's remarkable, actually. This will be an interesting angle from which to appreciate it, because he really looks as though he's just about to drift to the right-hand side as he lands, and that's very good judgment. But he works hard to point his toes, to keep the heels together, to ensure good form. That's very good, 14.533. And that is his real showpiece vault, the Blanik handspring double front pike. Well performed. He had a big landing adjustment there, but wasn't that exciting to watch? Especially because he really struggled with the execution of that by comparison in the preliminary stage. Again, he attacks the toe point, tries to really perform that with style. He's got a little bit of bend in the knees. In fact, quite a bit of bend in the knees. When you see from that angle, it's clearer. But very successful. .333. So that puts him into second place. And what's notable there is that he's gained about 3/4 of a mark for his second vault compared to qualification. We move to Ung Chun Chun of Malaysia. 8th best in qualifying. Now he will really give us some difficulty. Will he give us the execution that we know he can? Can be a little bit erratic in his performance of some of these vaults, but he's an ambitious young lad. He really goes for compelling difficulty, and he's just so exciting to watch. 22-year-old from Johor. Well, there we go. Slightly jarred landing, the handspring front 2.5. But he attacks it. He goes for a lot of power. He had execution scores that were below 9 in qualification. If you just look at the vault in flight, look at the leg separation. You think about the toe points, the elegance of Mirvaliev's vaulting. A little contrast to be drawn here, perhaps, with Ng Chun Chen. But he does manage to get around in what is a complicated piece of vaulting. 14 the score, 0.1 penalty. It is better than qualification by a single tenth, though well done to him there. Now, based on what he's been working on, we expect this to be a Dragulescu. So, same combination as we are going to see from several others, but in a different order. Oh, well done! Managed to hold that superbly. Yes! Quite right too, you should be thrilled about that. What a great performance in the final from Ng Chun Chen. Told you he was exciting. And he's performed the 2 vaults nicely as well. There is, again, a little tidying up to be done with his execution. But actually, when you look at his landing position, you think there he might be about to get that right hand down to lose a full mark. He does superbly to bring stability into that vault. Isn't it a lovely sight when you see a gymnast who's happy with what they've done? The work in training, all that work that we don't see because we just get to enjoy the lovely bit where they're on television and performing for our entertainment and for the prize money and for the experience. But he's earned the right to be pleased with that display. 13.833, so another vault that's up from qualification. 13.916, he's gained some hundredths and he's in 4th position.
See you next year.
So those are your top 3 at the halfway stage. Warm-ups in progress for the next set of gymnasts. We'll start with Nicola Bartolini, the 5th best in qualification. No, we won't. We'll start with Daniel Trifonov, the 6th best in qualification. Then we'll have Nicola Bartolini. And then we'll have Jake Jarman, who will give us some very compelling difficulty. We expect him to have the highest difficulty of anyone by 4 tenths over the peloton. And then Aurel Benovic, who again we anticipate posting 2 5.2 degree of difficulty vaults. Exactly the same as Hepworth, as Davtian and as Ng. Didn't quite go as he hoped in the floor final yesterday, but he's always a contender in a vault competition, especially in front of his home fans. He loves to perform in front of them.
Warm-up is over and we'll go on with the other 4 finalists. Peti finalist predstavnik je Bugarske. Fifth finalist representing Bulgaria,
Daniel Trifonov from Bulgaria. He's been a junior national champion on just about everything, including on vault. And he has been a senior World Challenge Cup medalist on vault. That was in Szombathely in Hungary last year, where he finished second. Good effort to hold on to that. He will take some landing deductions, but he minimised them as best he could. He also uses the same vault as Mirvaliev. Nice, stable, central. Gets all the way around in the 1.5 twisting Kasamatsu vault. .14 his score. I just want to make an adjustment to the score for Abdulaziz Mirvaliev, and I'm very relieved about it because Mirvaliev was initially given a 5.2 difficulty for his first vault. We'll come back to that after this performance. And there is the shoe felt, the second vault of Daniel Trifonov, so well done to him. Just to come back to that vault for Abdulaziz Mirvaliev, he was given a 5.2 for the 1.5 twisting Kasamatsu for a 14.533 score, and I was looking at it thinking surely that should be a 4.8 because the Kasamatsu 1.5 has dropped down from a 5.2 in the last few years, or the last cycle of 4 years, and indeed that has now been downgraded to a 14.133 with a 4.8 difficulty. Back to Mr. Trifonov and his well-performed shoe felt. He does look like he's gone out of bounds. So 14 for both vaults for Daniel Trifonov, and he is in 4th place. Mirvaliev still holding on to 3rd. Nicola Bartolini, 5th best in qualification, 14.016 the average score, and that would put him in 4th position with 2 to go. Silver medalist at the Mediterranean Games in Algeria on this apparatus. Part of the Italian team that was at the Olympic Games. He did wonderfully to make it. Well, that's a very delicate looking shoe felt, so composed in how he performed it. Had a little adjustment as he landed, but not very much. 2.5 twisting Yuchenko vault. There's a lightness to how he lands. It's very impressive. One of those gymnasts who has really worked on the craft of appearing effortless in what he does. He scores 14.033. That is up from qualification. Only just over a 10th difference, but could be significant. expectation here is for a 1.5 twisting Kasamatsu. Indeed so, and again it's quite stable from Nicola Bartolini. Difficulty-wise, he is about 8/10 lower than the leading couple of gymnasts, Harry Hepworth and Artur Davtyan. But his clarity, always nice to watch. Tiny sidestep, really tiny.
Marko će možda bolje znati kakvi su njegovi rezultati na velikim natjecanjima na preskoku, ali Nicola Bartolini je bio svjetski prvak na tlu 2021. i pročen na europskom prvenstvu te godine.
Odlikaš. Evo ga, na trećoj poziciji, 14:33.
Nicola Bartolini goes into third place, 14.133. I did say that that little execution increase might make a difference. And he's done it on the second vault too by a single tenth. So he is now ahead of Mirvaliev by virtue of having better execution and lower difficulty. This might change the top three because we now have Jake Jarman as the penultimate competitor.
Jake Jarman.
Second best in qualification, the world champion on vault. And also the champion of Europe. Much will depend on this first vault. Oh, gosh. Well, that's the Yonikura, and he was halfway out of the building. There's so much amplitude in it. Well, the Jarman, I should say, the Kasamatsu 2.5.
Evo, htio bi malo pojasniti publici razliku između ovog skoka i Nikole što je malo prije skočio. On je čak napravio 3,5 okreta oko svoje ose, što je ekstremno teško. Kao što sam ti rekao malo prije, vrti se kao medalj.
No, it was the Yonikura vault. I'm doubting myself, but I am right. So the score 13.9. So that Yonikura vault down by a full mark from qualification. And the Dragulescu, well performed, so that will bring the average score up quite a bit.
Bio svjetski prvak na preskoku 2023. Aktualni je evropski prvak na preskoku iz 2024. A 22. je bio evropski prvak i na preskoku u pojedinačnoj konkurenciji iz momčadi Velike Britanije. Osvojio ukupno 8
So Jake Jarman likely to be out of the race for a place on the podium, courtesy of that unfortunate landing adjustment, big landing adjustment on the first vault. Watching on Harry Hepworth, who's currently leading the way. .995, so 6th position for Jake Jarman. Now, this is interesting. Leading score 14.383, and here is Aurel Benovic,
Aurel Benovic.
who scored 14.216 in qualifying.
Da čujemo se. Aurel! Aurel!
And we expect that we're going to get like for like here, the same 2 vaults that we saw from Harry Hepworth. So it will be very interesting. Here we go, last gymnast. And that's a good Dragulescu. Now, Hepworth scored 14.3 for his. Is he going to win it again? 2 years in succession, Aurel Benovic.
Evo, mislim da je publika sve rekla, uživala je, zna da je dobro skočio. Mali poskok na kraju, no mislim da bi on to i potpisao u startu.
You know, this could be very, very tight. It's been a good vault final, hasn't it? Lovely standard. Oh, well, that's given us no clarity at all because it's the same score as Hepworth, 14.3. He's up 2/10 from qualifying, totally in medal contention now. Now, Hepworth was stronger on the second vault. He had a 9.266 execution for a 14.466 overall. And we do anticipate exactly the same vault from Benovic. Well, I never. It's going to come down to minute calculations, but that's a brilliant case made by Aurel Benovic. What this gentleman has been through over the last couple of years. Bereavement, dreadful injury, the most dramatic of Olympic qualification processes, and he's handled it all with the broadest of shoulders. And how special that he gets to come back here to the people who've paid to see him, and many of them have come just to see him. He has a slight loss of form coming towards the ground, but it is still going to score very well because the landing is particularly good. This is really going to be close, I think. Well, you can hear he's got it. And that has not helped us at all because Jay Lahang's not competing for a little while yet. Aurel Benovic has won the vault title with a score of 14.4. Harry Hepworth, 14.383. The finest of margins. He has retained his title in his home World Cup competition in front of the fans who are always so thrilled to see him. Well done. And maybe, just maybe, all that he has been through is cathartically coming out. Goodness knows that man has earned the right to shed some tears. That's going to be one of the World Cup moments of the season. The story and the performance all coming together. He fractured a bone in his foot that made the path towards Olympic qualification seem so unlikely.
A mislim da mi je baš drago da je
He also, in
napravio
the
revanš koji je čekao i
lengthy build-up to the Olympiad, lost his mother.
i da se može boriti
She had a
za
very
najbolje
long
i ona
illness. He actually,
krava
at one point, had saved her life when she had collapsed in the family home. And he managed to go to the final qualification opportunity in the World Cups and just coolly deliver a performance like there was nothing going on in his life, like he'd just woken up that day and thought, only gymnastics in my head now. And then to go to the Olympics and finish fifth. Such a triumph. And you know what? He's still only 24. Let's not forget that. He's going to be of prime vaulting age when the next games come around. The classified results in the men's vault competition. The bronze medal to Armenia's Artur Davtyan, silver to Great Britain's Harry Hepworth, and the gold medal to Croatia's own and Croatia's finest, Harald Benovic. The men's vault award ceremony, and you're seeing here the procession led by the honorary guard of Osijek, Baranja County, a historical organisation tracing its roots back to the personal guard of Ban Josip Jelačić. It was originally founded in Zagreb in 1848 and then revived in 1995 and re-established in Osijek in 1996. All of its members are aged between 14 and 25.
In the third place, winning the bronze medal, representing Armenia, Artur Davtyan.
The winner of the bronze medal, two-time Olympic medalist, Armenia's Artur Davtyan.
Drugo mjesto i srebrna medalja, predstavnik Velike Britanije. In the second place, winning the silver medal, representing Great Britain, Harry Hepworth.
The silver medal won by Harry Hepworth of Great Britain. Another Olympic medalist in this star-studded Osijek World
In the first
Cup.
place, winning the gold medal, representing Croatia, Harald Benovic.
And to beat those two gentlemen, to beat two of the Olympic vault podium, well, that's the stuff of dreams. But to do it here, with all that's happened in front of them, that is the stuff of fantasy. Except he's made it a reality. His name is Harald Benovic, and he can't even walk down the street in this place without getting stopped by those folk.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're able to, please stand for the national anthem of Croatia.
huge congratulations to the winner of the gold medal, joined by his fellow medalists in the men's vault competition at the Osijek World Cup. I mean, goodness me, he must want to just glance to the left and the right and go, look who I've just beaten.